Looking at Crown, it's more than a road, more than a street. It's a Trojan horse. It could be an opportunity for us to re-engage and build up a relationship with our surrounding. So it's more than what it is. I'm going to come back to this. This could be reality, the future. The residents in our bioregion receiving a credit or a crypto or a currency you could call, but it's one it's Auroville. So I'm going to come back to this one. So it's been 54 years. Auroville has established itself. So it's coming to a most conservative state in India, Tamil Nadu, and to establish itself. So it's looked at more of inwards and to inner development. So now it's an opportunity to look beyond, build more bridges, so restructure some of the relationship. So I would like to quote this is a beautiful words from the mother. India has become the symbol of all difficulties of modern humanity. It is the representation of all human difficulties on earth, and it is in India that there will be the cure. And it is for that I was made to create Auroville. It's beautifully said. I think we need to take this opportunity. Auroville is experimental. We want to push that. We want to look at it like how it can leave a footprint to beyond Auroville, beyond our bioregion, to the India, maybe to the rest of the world. I think there's a real opportunity here for us to look at it. So some of the key elements for us like water, food, and community. Today I am asking, can these elements could be the core of city planning? Normally we don't. As planners and architects, we put other priorities into it. But I want to see whether we can put this as in the core. Crown, I look at it as a system point of view. So it's a service corridor, like the brief says. It's the infrastructure. So what I'm looking at it is, can infrastructure and architecture can have a symbiotic relationship, can blur the boundaries between infrastructure and architecture. So this is my, and I've done looked at a few case studies, and I would like to share with you guys. So this is a picture from Mumbai. It's a photo of infrastructure. If you look at it, you can pick 5 infrastructures here. They are designed by engineers, single use. So we don't want to do it here. We want to do something multi where there's more than one usage we could take out of infrastructure. This is another piece of infrastructure. Central Park in New York. It actually brings a huge value to the already built up a city around. It's augment the city, creating an extra value of it. This is one of my favorite. It's also a piece of infrastructure, but it is sitting perfectly with that road. So there's a jumbo jet is crossing, but there's a traffic lights on both sides, so you have to stop for it to pass through. So this infrastructure is being used for more than one. It's in Gibraltar. This is not a sci-fi movie. This is real. It's in Germany. It's still there today, a cable car. So the beauty about this is it follows the natural course of water. So the infrastructure follows. So there is that relationship here. It's not on a grid, as we see normally. It's not on a grid. So I'm looking at like how it could be in the core of planning, which drives the water and the food community, is a driving force of the planning. There are 3 elements: Let me start with the water. So the story begins with the water. So some hard facts. This is a real issue. This is by the United Nations. So on a daily basis, we as a residents of Auroville, we consume between 150 liters to 378 liters of water on a daily basis. This is what we consume. We let it go through the drain, so black and gray water. And if you look at it globally, 70% of that water is used for agriculture purpose. Now, we all know this urbanization is taking at an unprecedented rate. India is at the forefront. By 2050, the majority of the population will be living in the urban context. So that's the hard fact. And some of the urbanization is the key driver for change of today and tomorrow. That water is 378 up to liters of water. It's through the drain. Can we do something about it? We are heavily relying on rainwater. We are heavily relying on excavated water or bored water. But there is a precious water, we are just letting it go. So can we make use of this water? So there is a small, this is one of the proposition, a small company in Chennai looking at purifying or reclaiming black water through extracts, through herbal extracts. Yes, it is real. So by using tulsi, neem, kadukai, and moringa leaves extracts, you can actually make it potable water with a few drops of it. They had come to Auroville to demonstrate this one. So I was there, and you see one of our friends, he's actually drank the water which has been purified, and it went around. I wasn't that brave enough, but I did smell it. It smelled of like tirtha, from, if you go to the temple, you get tulsi. So that's what it smelled like. But this is real. So he's actually demonstrating in Chennai on a sewage. He takes that water and it does the small experiment. It's very quick. It doesn't require huge mechanical, as we know today. But it's real. It's real. So this process is actually fairly simple, and it works with an existing already a treatment. If there is an existing treatment, or there is the water comes from the house, the black and gray. When I say black water, it's from the toilet. Gray water is shower and kitchen waste, kitchen water. It comes to a tank, and then the coagulant get mixed into that, the extracts, and sediment, which you actually extract. That sediment, which is in a soil form, it's also treated. So it's a good fertilizer for agriculture. It could be used as. Then the fresh water get fed into. So now we're looking at this water going to the crown as a system, as a small a ponds or holding water around crown as a system of that. So we're looking at it as a built environment. We have a crown, and it is a circulating, a dynamic water. So the wastewater get treated locally in a small capacity, then fed into the crown, and more from the industries and around crown come into this. Then treated water goes out of the crown. So it's a dynamic, The beauty about this is like you don't have to start all at one go. It could be at incremental as we proceed, as the city grows. So now, all of a sudden, your bioregion, bit of an eyesore for us, like for many reasons, like whether it's mobility, whether it's traffic, and all of a sudden becomes an asset for this. More people are using this water, then we can actually treat that water, and then we can bot back into it. So now the bioregion becomes a stakeholder in this, what we do. So they have a say in it. So we have a relationship with it. We have a relationship with the people who are. So they have a say in this. This is the beauty about this one. And using that water, potable drinking water, then we begin to grow food in the areas beyond our bioregion, within Auroville as a city. Now, once you have that sort of a water connecting to bioregion, now that water could be connecting back to the Eries, which is already an established system. It's a very ancient system we have around. If you look at much larger, so they're all somehow connected above ground, below ground. Now that could be the Kalivali Dam could also be fed into, so this water. So if there is a heavy rain, so these loop could take some of the water, then distribute it according to. So this little system of connecting black using treated water and that could be spread across other cities also. Could be a small network. So you could already you begin to connect these from cities and some small regions. So there could be a system of network. So this is a little scenario of how built environment, food production can actually emerge. So there's a loop, water, which is circulating. Then you have built environment, living, also food production in built environment, could be in high rise, and the growing fields in between. It's a gibberish language. So taking that elements, the water, so now looking into Crown. So this is a natural nature interpretation center. So looking at this sensory experience through elements, water and food and so forth. So we're looking at as one of the place which is near a youth center existing. What is a nature interpretation center? So it's about studying, it's about learning through our surrounding, through senses, sensory experience. Day and night we're going to, it's from all ages. So there's a learning from a different senses. So this is one of the radial. This is the proposed element. So now having that water as part of that infrastructure, existing forest, bliss forest, you're walking through and key areas we're observing, and kids would be looking at certain parts of it, whether it's a frog or whether it's a cocoon of a butterfly or a tree root system or young leaves are popping up, and so you're looking in more detail. So this is going below. So you have, is one of the, this is in New Delhi, a step well, similar idea. So you have water on both sides. You're coming down to a space within. So you have water here. You're looking at a installation of root, now how tree root could be cut across. And actually you get to see, we don't get to see often what's below the ground. So this is a huge installation here. So you see the water on the side and you're going down into the subterranean. This is the entry. And this is inside. You're looking at the sky and the water and this beautiful space. This is above the ground you have some music instruments. You're actually collecting water, wind, transforming into a music sensory experience below the ground. So looking at food, this is another case study I did. So this is a Cork in Ireland where a butter factory provided employment for women, and then how that actually changed the demography and the socio background in Cork. So the food left a major impact in this little town. And this in Bangladesh, how it used to be a river, and due to global warming and salinity, how they're restructuring the food production. It's a floating beds, and this is a very century-old tradition, so they are coming back with it. So again, how we are reconfiguring ourselves to the needs. This is a very interesting restaurant. This is in Venice, in Italy. A plateau is a small shack. So what it is, if you go there, there's only 8 people can fit in. You go inside, the net goes down. You actually catch whatever, it could be crab, could be shell, could be fish, it'll be cooked straight away. So this is an experience with the food. So you may not like it, but it's the experience of it. So I really like this quote from Buckminster Fuller: you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. So I'm looking at the food. I'm looking at food is how it's connected to mobility. So this is a small glimpse of like what's the trend is like. So if you look at Kuala on the weekends, you will see these number plates, self-driving cars. People are coming from Delhi, sorry, not Delhi, not yet, Bangalore, Chennai, coming here to experience food, purely food. So there are 3-4 listed, they have lists, so they need to have a breakfast, lunch, so it's all set. So they come for the weekend, 5-6 people drive from these normally young people. So it gives me a little trend what it's like to be, what it's like in the future, what this food can be. Auroville has a multi-cuisine around here. So, and I want to see how this could be taken to a next level. Let's say, because it's directly connected to mobility, let's say these few key restaurants within Auroville Road, we relocate them to a place where it's more easy to approach, a better parking, and a more robust relationship. So what you're looking at is food being consumed, but at the same time you're looking at where it's been grown, how the food actually gets on the table. So a beyond relationship as food as its own. This few like Sustenance Farm, Mark's Cafe, Tanto, let's take these and put it to a farmland where there's actually food is growing. So that's actually near Irumbai Tank, close to the Tindivanam bypass. So these new restaurants could be on a small footprint. They're touching the ground lightly, like Glenn Market says. So they could be above the ground and on stilts, on stumps, but they could be in farmland where the bunds are. So these are the new restaurants could be. How restaurant is actually meandering, where on the existing bund. So you're looking at through the field. So you're not only actually being in the farmland, you're creating an ecosystem for people to grow what you need. So it goes beyond that. So you're creating a demand. So people who haven't been growing, they can actually see what's the trend, what's the demand. They begin to start supporting to your restaurant because you have the demand there, you have the market there itself. This is one of the experience where you're sitting down and you have forest and the open field and water, and it's on stilts, so you're not actually disturbing a lot on the ground. So, a new reality where we are utilizing black water, we're building a relationship with the consumers, all the stakeholders, in this case bioregion, so we have a direct relationship, direct dialogue with them and us. So it's not about that, it's all of us. So Auroville sits in this patch of southern states of India, and it's so rich. It's a tapestry of richness all around us. And it only makes sense to integrate and to build more bridges and to build with that. I think it's really a great opportunity, this crown, for us to rethink about our relationship with the surrounding key elements like food, water, and community. With that, I want to ask, can we put these really, really important issues into the driving force of the planning today? Thank you very much.